Are you a foreign spouse of a Filipino national or a Filipino national planning to travel and enter the Philippines? Welcome to my channel. Come and join with me as I travel back to the Philippines. Today, I will discuss with you all the documents to enter the Philippines. Which of course, these documents are not necessary because I'm a Filipino national but not for the foreign spouse. The foreign spouse cannot enter the Philippines without a valid visa even if they come from the visa-free countries. So last week, we went to the Philippine consulate here in Toronto and applied for a 9A visa to enter the Philippines. The 9A visa is a temporary visa that are issued for non-immigrant foreigner who plan to enter the Philippines for a short period of time. Traveling during this pandemic involves numerous documents such as PSA marriage certificate, a return ticket. We also submitted utility bills and our status here in Canada. We booked online and scheduled our appointment in the Philippine consulate. Make sure you don't apply too early for the 9A visa or else they will ask you to come back 1 week before your departure date. So since there are not much people in the consulate, we were assisted earlier enough with no delay. After submitting our documents to the counter, they asked us to return the next day to pick up the passport along with the 9A visa. And now let's proceed to the main topic, entering the Philippines. Okay, you have decided when to fly and you book your flight to your favorite airlines. All set. Weeks before your flight, make sure you visit the website of the Philippine Bureau of Immigration for any new rules and updates from their previous advisory to make sure that you fulfill all the criteria to enter the Philippines, as they change advisory from time to time, and sometimes it's daily and sometimes it's just 5 days ago they change the next day. So make sure you are fully informed by the latest advisory they have issued. The website link is in the description below. Please check it out. Now, 3 days before your flight, make sure to do the following. First, you must register and accomplish the electronic case investigation form and save the confirmation email and QR code. You can visit the website's link in the description below. Please note, no QR code, no check-in, no boarding, so it's just complete waste of time. And keep in mind, you can only access the QR code 3 days before your flight. After that, you will receive this email. By following the instruction in that email, you will receive this email. Make sure you print them and download the Trace app in your phone before your flight. Then, make sure you print and sign the passenger's undertaking form. Also, the passenger's health locator form, the declaration release waiver form. All these documents are needed before you bring yourself to the airport.
The most important thing is you have a printer.
Also, make sure you have a confirmed hotel booking for 7 days in the government accredited hotels or accommodation. And accommodation are listed in the description below. By the way, if you are a foreign spouse of a Filipino national and traveling alone, you must have these documents. You can only enter through the 9A visa along with the DFA authorization, certificate to enter the Philippines. Meaning, you need the 9A visa plus the DFA authorization to enter the Philippines. These documents are from the Philippine Embassy or Consulate in the country where you are at this time. And if your Filipino spouse is traveling with you, all you need is the 9A visa and the PSA marriage certificate, original. This PSA marriage certificate is the key to enter the Philippines during this pandemic. Another important to have before your flight. Make sure you have the face shield and face mask. Without it, you cannot check in. So, 2 weeks before our flight, I went shopping online for a face shield and a face mask in Staples. Face shields and 20 pieces na face mask. Meron pa kasi kaming mga stock dyan for face mask. Ito lang binili namin in case na ma-short kami dahil every 4 hours we have to dispose it. So, ito na siya for the preparation of our flight. For the preparation ng flight namin. See you soon, Philippines. Now, we are at the airport. That is, okay. I cut, and...
Yeah.
Ah, it's a self-detector anyway. So, we are at the airport, checking in.
Oh, yes.
There you go. There's a long queue behind, but all okay. We are still here, waiting to check in. We submitted all our documents. Just have to come early kasi ang haba ng pila. If you're not coming earlier enough, talagang malilate ka. We're having our meal now. It took us 30 minutes to check in. With all the documents we have, complete documents still, we needed more time. Let's say when you go to the airport, you need 4 to 5 hours before your flight because it's a long process at the check-in. They check every document. They check the marriage certificate twice. They check the 9A visa twice. Most of the shops are closed. See? Closed. Closed. There, all closed. We are ready for boarding. Philippines.
Loss of signal and others. For My Mobile, your mobile service provider's roaming charges will apply. Please call your cabin attendants for assistance.
During the flight, wearing a face mask and face shield is mandatory at all times. You can only remove the face covering during meals. So I keep on eating. We had an awfully long flight from Toronto to Manila. An hour before our landing, the flight crew named Liz handed me the following: arrival card, health declaration card in color yellow, custom baggage declaration form, interagency task force declaration form, case investigation form. When we landed, the captain announces to follow the protocol that will be given by the BOQ personnel. We were not allowed to disembark until the orientation is conducted by the Bureau of Quarantine personnel and Coast Guard. I think that took around 1 hour. After the lengthy orientation, the Bureau of Quarantine personnel came to us and checked our body temperature, and they collected the yellow card and told us to proceed to the swab test station. After all the airline crew disembarked, we were allowed to leave the plane. As we entered the building, they checked our body temperature again before proceeding to the swab test station. In the counter, we submitted the email that contains QR code, and then they checked the validity of the hotel reservation. Also, they checked the means of transportation to the quarantine hotel. Then the passengers undertaking form and presented our passport. They log our QR code and they attach a sticker at the back of our passports. Then we proceed to the verification and payment booth. We were asked to present the following: passport, boarding pass, email that contains our QR code, passengers undertaking form, and the payment of swab test amounting 4,000 peso per person. And then when everything was clear, we proceed to the immigration. Now at the immigration, make sure you have all the applicable documents such as visa, plus the supporting documents like I mentioned before. DFA authorization certificate or endorsement from the Philippine Embassy before your flight, or a PSA marriage certificate if your Filipino spouse is traveling with you. This is what they meant for the eligible non-Filipino national to enter the Philippines. If you do not have these, you will have a very costly consequence. After we cleared the immigration, we proceeded to the Carousel 7 to collect our baggage. And before we exit, we submitted the affidavit of undertaking to the Coast Guard. So when we left the terminal, there are still two documents that's still with me: the case investigation form and the Interagency Task Force declaration form, and the original receipt of the payment for the swab test. Keep in mind, there are no cash machines or ATM, and even SIM cards in the airport. So plan these things ahead of time. Let's recap.
In compliance with the Philippine regulations, passengers arriving in the Philippines starting February 1, 2021 shall undergo RT-PCR on the 6th day of their quarantine stay at a hotel accredited by tourism and health agencies. Let's recap. Allowed for travel to the Philippines: Filipino citizens, eligible foreign nationals, diplomats and dignitaries, persons with medical emergency cases, including medical escorts. Number 1. Before you fly, register on the Electronic Case Investigation Form, ECIF, as early as 3 days before your flight to Manila. For land-based and sea-based OFWs, please visit the website in the below description. For all non-OFW passengers, including returning overseas Filipinos, authorized foreign nationals arriving in Manila, please visit the website in the below description. For non-OFWs, pre-book a hotel accredited by tourism and health agencies for a 7-night accommodation. Number 2. During check-in at the airport for your flight to Manila, letter A. Present your QR code. Letter B. Affidavit of undertaking. Letter C. Download the Trace app in your phone. Letter D. Sign the declaration and waiver form indicating that you are healthy and fit to travel and the passenger's locator form. Letter E. Documents to support the foreign national's eligibility to enter the Philippines. During the flight, make sure you wear your face mask and face shield at all times. You can only remove the face coverings during meals. Number 3. When you arrive and still inside the plane, you must accomplish and fill out the following. Letter A. Health declaration form. Letter B. Arrival card. Letter C. Bureau of Customs form. Letter D. IATF declaration form. Letter E. Case investigation form, and listen to the briefing of the Philippine Coast Guard and Philippine Airlines personnel. Upon deplaning, submit the declaration form to the Coast Guard personnel. Number 3. When you arrive at the terminal, for non-OFWs, hotel verifiers will confirm your quarantine booking. Proceed to the validation and verification desk where Detoxicare staff will confirm your ECIF data and prepaid the RT-PCR test, 4,000 Philippine pesos. Payments can be made via cash, card, Alipay, WeChat Pay, PayPal and GCash. For land-based OFWs, proceed to the OWA or Marina desk for quarantine hotel assignments. For sea-based OFWs, proceed to the validation and verification desk where personnel shall confirm your registration. Before exiting the terminal, submit the affidavit of undertaking to the Philippine Coast Guard and the Bureau of Customs form to the officer. All arriving passengers must then proceed to their respective transport vehicles for transfer to their quarantine facilities or hotels. Number 4. At the quarantine facility or hotel, letter A. Check in for your quarantine stay. Letter B. On day 3, non-OFWs shall receive an email requesting them to fill up a health check questionnaire. Letter C. Day 6, RT-PCR testing will be administered. For non-OFWs, shall present their QR code, passport, and payment receipt and shall undergo RT-PCR testing to be given by Detoxicare Medical and Diagnostics Laboratory. For all OFWs, shall undergo RT-PCR testing to be administered by the Philippine Coast Guard and/or Philippine Red Cross. At any point from day of arrival to day 5, passengers showing symptoms shall inform their hotel of their condition. The hotel shall inform the Department of Health and Bureau of Quarantine for assessment, medical management and testing. Number 5. The test results. If a passenger tests positive, an assessment will be made by the health or quarantine officer to determine the appropriate next steps. A passenger who tests negative may obtain the Bureau of Quarantine medical certificate via quarantinecertificate.com and by emailing the BOQ at boc.qc1@gmail.com. Present your test result and BOQ medical certificate for clearance. Number 6. Checking out and going home. Once cleared, you may call up your relatives or local government unit to pick you up or you may arrange for your own transportation. OFWs may contact OWA or their local manning agencies. Please complete your 14-day quarantine and self-isolation under the monitoring of your local government unit or barangay health emergency response team.
Now we are at the quarantine hotel waiting for our swab test, and I will give you an update as soon as we have the schedule. And whatever comes up, I'm going to keep you posted. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Wow. Here's the food.